Hello, and welcome back to Totally Abstracted, the podcast where we explore the world of art, especially abstract landscapes, and the many ways we express ourselves creatively. I'm your host, Michelle, and today's episode is all about texture, how it breathes life and depth into artwork, transforming flat surfaces into pieces that feel touchable and emotionally evocative. Now, texture is a powerful and often underestimated element, especially in abstract landscapes where texture can be used as a language, suggesting movement, depth, and mood. Imagine the rough crags of a rocky shore, or the gentle ripples of a lake, or windswept grasses on a hillside. By using texture creatively, we invite viewers to step into these scenes and experience them emotionally. So let's start with physical texture, something you can feel when you run your fingers over the surface. Physical texture adds tangible depth to your work, encouraging a more interactive experience. One of my favourite ways to create this is with texture mediums. There's glass bead gel. This medium can add a sparkling, almost magical texture that catches light, perfect for suggesting shimmering water or evening glow. Modelling paste is another one, which is ideal for thick sculptural textures. You can create raised surfaces that add dimension. And there's sand gel, which you can use for a gritty, earthy feel that could suggest more rugged terrains or sandy shores. Experimenting with these sorts of mediums can make a painting feel more alive, adding a tactile quality that draws the viewer closer. The other type of texture is visual texture, which is the illusion of texture created through paint application and mark making. Visual texture can imply the softness of mist or the roughness of stone without adding any physical depth. For example, you can use thin washes of paint to evoke a sense of ethereal mist or create subtle patterns that add to the landscape's depth. Both physical and visual textures are essential, often working together to make abstract landscapes more compelling and multidimensional. One of the most effective ways to add visual texture and depth is through layering. I often start with thin layers of paint to create a soft, ethereal base. Gradually, I build up with thicker applications, letting each layer peek through, creating a complexity that resembles looking through layers of mist or terrain. To add variety, you can try changing the thickness of your paint. Using a palette knife or a sponge, you can create thick impasto areas that contrast with smoother layers beneath. Each layer, adds a new chapter to your painting, creating an evolving story of depth and meaning. Now, some of my favourite tools for adding both physical and visual texture are, firstly, the catalyst wedge, my absolute go-to for blending, scraping, and creating large textural gestures. The flexible edge allows for smooth strokes or jagged marks, perfect for capturing movement in water or the edges of mountains. Then you've got the palette knife, a classic for applying thick paint, creating sharp edges, and even carving into the surface. You can load it with multiple colours and swipe across the canvas for an organic mixed effect. And then there's the brayer, or basically a paint roller, great for even layers, but also fantastic for lifting paint to reveal textured patterns. This adds subtle but interesting layers to a piece, depending on how you use it. And then you've got other mark-making tools. You can get really playful with combs, scrapers, sponges, even your fingers. Each tool leaves a unique mark, allowing you to explore new directions and textures. So I thought I'd give you a few exercises to help you experiment with texture. The first is basically layering and scraping. Start with a thin, smooth layer. Let it dry, then add a thicker layer. While still wet, scrape back some areas to reveal the layers beneath. This practice helps you explore that balance between building up and letting go in art. Then try creating a texture sampler. Divide a canvas or paper into sections and experiment with different texture tools in each. This exercise is a great way to familiarise yourself with each tool's unique mark. And finally, try emotion through texture. Choose an emotion, like calm, joy, or tension, and express it through texture alone. There's the obvious, smooth textures for calm or jagged rough marks for tension, but go deeper and really explore the different ways of suggesting emotion and mood through texture alone. And if you need ideas for tools, colours, or emotions, don't forget to check out my art randomizer on my website for inspiration. Now, texture brings a whole new dimension to abstract landscapes, inviting viewers to engage with your work on a sensory level. Remember, there's no right or wrong way to create texture. It's all about experimentation and discovery. Thank you for joining me on Totally Abstracted. Keep layering, keep experimenting, and most importantly, have fun. Until next time, stay inspired and don't be afraid to get a little messy.